5 days before my wedding, my best friend stole my wedding dress. At first, I thought it was a cruel joke, some misunderstanding that could be easily fixed. But when I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She just smirked. And then she said something that sent a chill down my spine, something that made me realize this wasn't just about the dress. She had stolen it because she wanted him, my fiancé, my life, everything. But what she didn't know, what she never saw coming, was that she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. I was 5 days away from my wedding when I realized my wedding dress was gone. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Maybe I'd left it at the tailor's. Maybe my mom had moved it. Maybe, just maybe. I was so overwhelmed with last-minute details that my brain was playing tricks on me. But as I stood in my bedroom, staring at the empty garment bag where my dream dress had been, a slow, icy dread spread through my chest. I searched everywhere. The closet, the laundry room, even the spare bedroom where my bridesmaids' dresses were hanging. Nothing. My fiancé, Ryan, found me frantically tearing through the apartment, my breath coming in short, panicked gasps. "Emma?" His voice was cautious. "What's wrong?" "My dress," I whispered. "It's gone." I expected him to tell me to calm down, that there was a logical explanation. Instead, his expression darkened. "Who else has been here?" That's when it hit me. Lisa. Lisa, my best friend since childhood. Lisa, my maid of honor. Lisa, who had been acting strange lately. I had brushed it off as wedding stress. She'd been distant, moody, making snarky comments disguised as jokes. But she was my best friend. My sister in everything but blood. The person I had trusted most in the world. Until now. I grabbed my phone and opened our last conversation. 2 days ago. Lisa. "Hey, can I stop by later? Just for a little girl talk?" Me. Of course. She had been here. Alone. And now, my dress was missing. My stomach twisted as I scrolled further back. Little things I had ignored before now screamed at me in bold letters. "Lisa. You're so lucky, Em. Some people never get a wedding like this." "Lisa. That dress must have cost a fortune. Hope nothing happens to it." Haha. "Lisa. It's crazy how quickly things can change, huh?" A chill ran down my spine. Ryan must have seen my face because he stepped closer, voice low. "Who are you thinking about?" I looked up, my hands gripping my phone so tight my knuckles went white. "Lisa," I whispered. And deep down, I already knew. She had taken it. She had stolen my wedding dress, and I had no idea why. I sat frozen, gripping my phone, my mind racing through every possible scenario. She couldn't do something like this. Could she? Ryan knelt beside me, his expression a mix of concern and barely concealed anger. "Emma, we need to be sure. Are you positive it was her?" I wanted to say no, to find another explanation, but my gut told me otherwise. Lisa had always been unpredictable, a little impulsive, but never cruel. At least, that's what I had believed. But looking back, I started to see the cracks in our friendship, tiny fractures I had ignored for years. I scrolled through my texts again, this time searching for the last time I had mentioned my dress to her. There it was, just a few days ago. Me. Just picked up my dress. Can't wait for you to see it at the final fitting. Lisa. Ooh, exciting. You should send me a pic I never did. It wasn't superstition exactly, but I wanted her to see me in it for the first time in person. She had laughed and brushed it off, but I remembered the way her smile had tightened, the flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. Now, that unreadable emotion had a name. Jealousy. I felt sick. Ryan took my phone gently from my hands. Call her. The thought of confronting Lisa made my stomach churn. What if I was wrong? What if there was some ridiculous, innocent explanation? But as I hesitated, another thought surfaced. What if I was right? What if she had my dress at that very moment, stuffed in her car, or worse, in her closet like some kind of twisted trophy. I pressed the call button, my hands clammy against the phone. It rang once, twice. Then, "Hey, Em." Lisa's voice was bright, casual, as if she hadn't done anything at all. "What's up? Bride-to-be panic mode?" My heart pounded. "Lisa, where's my wedding dress?" There was a pause, a second too long. Then a breathy laugh. "What? What are you talking about?" I closed my eyes, gripping the phone tighter. Don't play dumb with me. You were here. You knew where it was. And now it's gone." Silence. Then, in the smallest, most condescending voice, she said, "Emma, are you seriously accusing me of stealing your dress?" My pulse hammered in my ears. "Where is it, Lisa?" Another pause, then a scoff. "God, Em, you sound paranoid. Maybe you misplaced it." A rush of cold fury coursed through me. I had known Lisa for years, and I knew when she was lying. She wasn't denying it, she was deflecting. "I'm coming over," I said, my voice steady now. Lisa let out a short laugh. "You're being ridiculous." I ignored her. "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Before she could say another word, I hung up. Ryan was already grabbing his keys. "Let's go." I didn't argue. Because in that moment, I knew the truth. Lisa had my dress, and I was about to find out why. The drive to Lisa's apartment felt both agonizingly slow and dangerously fast. My hands clenched into fists in my lap, my mind a tangled mess of anger, disbelief, and betrayal. I kept replaying our conversation, searching for any hint of remorse in her voice. There had been none. Just deflection, amusement. Like this was a joke to her. Ryan's grip on the steering wheel was tight, his jaw locked. He hadn't said much since we left, but I could feel his fury radiating off him. He had always liked Lisa, trusted her even. But now, I could see the realization settling in for him too. Lisa wasn't the person we thought she was. When we pulled up outside her building, I hesitated for half a second before throwing the car door open. My pulse thundered in my ears as I marched up to her door and knocked. Hard. Silence. I knocked again, this time louder. Finally, the lock clicked, and the door opened just enough for Lisa to peek through. She looked nervous. But just as quickly, she covered it with a smirk. "Wow, you weren't kidding," she said with a half laugh. "You actually came." I pushed the door open wider and stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. Ryan followed close behind. Lisa's apartment was neat, cozy, familiar. We had spent countless nights here, drinking wine, talking about life. And yet, for the first time, it felt foreign, like I was stepping into an enemy's territory. I turned to face her. "Where is it?" Lisa sighed, crossing her arms. "Emma, come on. You're seriously taking this that far? Do you even hear yourself?" I didn't blink. "Where is my dress?" She rolled her eyes. "God, you're acting insane." And then, like it was the most natural thing in the world, she walked across the room and opened her bedroom door. There it was, hanging on the back of her closet door. My wedding dress. My dress. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The sight of it in her apartment, somewhere it had no business being, hit me like a punch to the stomach. It wasn't in a bag. It wasn't folded away. It was hanging there, on full display, as if she had been admiring it. I took a shaky step forward, my voice barely above a whisper. "Why?" Lisa turned to face me, her arms still crossed, her expression unreadable. "I just wanted to try it on." Try it on. She said it so casually, like she had borrowed a sweater, not stolen the most important dress of my life. I felt something inside me snap. "You stole my dress, Lisa." My voice cracked, the weight of everything crashing down on me. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" She scoffed. "Oh, please. You're acting like I burned it or something. It's fine. I was going to bring it back." "Why?" I demanded again, my hands shaking now. What the hell were you thinking? She looked at me then, really looked at me, and for the first time, I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt? Regret? Number. It was darker than that. You don't get it, do you? She murmured. I stared at her, my heart hammering. Get what? Lisa let out a short, bitter laugh. You have everything, Emma. The perfect fiancé, the perfect wedding, the perfect life, and you just expect everyone to be happy for you? A cold chill slithered down my spine. You're jealous. She didn't deny it. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The air between us was thick, suffocating. Then Lisa sighed and walked over to the closet, grabbing the dress off the hanger. She shoved it toward me. There, take it. Have your stupid wedding. I took the dress with trembling hands, my stomach twisting into knots. This wasn't just about a dress. It was about years of friendship unraveling in an instant. It was about betrayal that ran deeper than I had ever imagined. Lisa had stolen my dress out of jealousy, but what she didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that she had just changed everything. Because I wasn't going to let this go. Not this time. I clutched my dress against my chest, my fingers digging into the delicate fabric as if holding on to it would somehow keep everything from falling apart. Lisa stood there, arms still crossed, her expression unreadable, but her words echoed in my mind. You have everything, Emma. It was jealousy, resentment, and the most painful part? She had been hiding it from me for years. Ryan stepped forward, his voice deadly calm. Is that really why you did it, Lisa? Because you're jealous? Lisa scoffed, shifting uncomfortably. Oh, don't be dramatic. I just wanted to feel what it was like. She waved a hand at the dress. To wear something that beautiful, to imagine... She stopped herself, biting her lip. To imagine what? To imagine being me? I swallowed, my throat tight. Lisa, if you had told me you were struggling, if you had told me you were feeling like this, I would have... Her eyes snapped to mine, anger flaring. Would have what, Emma? Thrown me a pity party? Told me I'd find someone someday? You don't get it. You never have. The venom in her voice stunned me. I had always thought of Lisa as my closest friend, the person I could tell anything to. But now, standing in front of her, I realized something horrifying. I didn't know her at all. Ryan let out a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. You stole her dress because you're bitter? That's low, Lisa, even for you. Lisa rolled her eyes, but there was something in her face, a flicker of shame, a hesitation. It was gone in an instant. Oh, please, stop acting like I ruined her entire wedding. She has the dress back. What's the big deal? My chest tightened. The big deal? This wasn't just about a stolen dress. It was about trust, about a friendship I had once thought was unbreakable now lying in shreds at my feet. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. Lisa, I need you to be honest with me. Was this just about the dress? Or is there something else? She hesitated, looking at me, then at Ryan. A strange expression crossed her face, something I couldn't quite place. And then she said, so quietly, I almost didn't hear it. I thought he'd change his mind. The world tilted. I blinked. What? Lisa crossed her arms tighter, looking anywhere but at me. I thought, maybe if he saw me in it, if he saw me like that, maybe he'd wonder if he was marrying the wrong person. Ryan tensed beside me, his whole body going rigid. And suddenly, everything made sense. The strange comments, the way Lisa had been acting distant, moody, the way she had clung to Ryan just a little too much during wedding planning. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. This wasn't just about the dress. This was about him. Lisa had stolen my wedding dress, hoping that, somehow, Ryan would see her in it and... what? Realize he was in love with her. I stared at her, my hands shaking. You... Wanted to take my fiancé? Lisa's mouth pressed into a thin line. She didn't deny it. Ryan exhaled sharply, stepping closer to me, as if shielding me from the very idea. Lisa, you're insane. A bitter laugh escaped her lips. Oh, come on. You can't tell me you never thought about it. We were always close, weren't we, Ryan? She tilted her head, a smirk playing on her lips. You liked having me around. My stomach churned. Ryan's expression darkened, his voice sharp. Don't flatter yourself. You were her best friend. That's all you ever were. Lisa's smirk faltered. A silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. My pulse roared in my ears, my heart splintering in ways I hadn't thought possible. This wasn't just about a stolen dress. It was about years of manipulation, of hidden resentment, of a woman I had trusted with my life, secretly wanting to take mine apart. I clenched my jaw, my voice eerily steady. You've destroyed everything, Lisa. She scoffed, but there was an edge to it now. Whatever, I was going to return it anyway. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. You still don't get it, do you? This isn't about the dress. This is about you being a snake. Lisa's eyes flickered, but she said nothing. I shook my head. We're done. Lisa's lips parted slightly, as if she wanted to protest, to defend herself. But what could she say? There was no fixing this. No taking it back. She had made her choice. And now, so had I. The silence in Lisa's apartment was suffocating. The weight of her betrayal hung between us, thick and unmoving, like a storm cloud about to burst. She didn't try to stop me as I turned for the door, my wedding dress still clutched in my arms, my entire body trembling with the force of my anger. Ryan was right behind me, his presence a steady reassurance, but I barely felt it. My mind was racing, my heart pounding so loudly that I thought it might shatter inside my chest. Lisa had wanted him. Lisa had wanted my life, and she had been willing to cross every line to get it. The drive home was quiet, but the silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, electric, charged with the kind of fury that didn't just burn, it consumed. Ryan reached over, his fingers brushing mine, grounding me. Emma, he said softly, I don't want you to waste another second thinking about her. She's not worth it. I swallowed hard, my eyes fixed on the road ahead. She thinks she's getting away with it, I whispered. Like this is just going to go away. Ryan didn't argue, because he knew what I did. Lisa wouldn't stop unless I made her. By the time we pulled into my driveway, my sadness had hardened into something sharper, clearer. Lisa had thought she could play her games and walk away unscathed. She had no idea what was coming. The next morning, I put my plan into motion. I wasn't reckless. I wasn't going to scream at her in the middle of the street or destroy her belongings like some scorned reality show villain. No, I was smarter than that. I started with our mutual friends, the ones who would hear the story soon enough. But instead of letting Lisa twist the narrative into something palatable for herself, I made sure they heard exactly what had happened. She stole my wedding dress, I told them, my voice calm but firm. And she admitted she wanted Ryan to change his mind. There was shock, disbelief, but mostly there was disgust. She seriously thought he'd fall for that? One of my bridesmaids, Alyssa, scoffed. That's pathetic. I didn't need to exaggerate or embellish. Lisa had written her own downfall. Word spread quickly, and within hours, the messages started flooding in. I can't believe Lisa would do something like this. I always thought she was a little off, but this is insane. Emma, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I wasn't sure how to answer that last one. Was I okay? Not yet, but I would be. And Lisa? She was about to realize just how much she had lost. Then came the wedding. Lisa must have known she was uninvited. She didn't dare show her face, but her absence didn't cast a shadow on my day. If anything, it made everything brighter. Without her energy lurking in the background, poisoning my happiness, I was free, truly free. I walked down the aisle in my dress, my heart light, my mind clear. Lisa had thought she could take something from me. She thought she could leave me broken, but all she had done was set me free. And as I stood at the altar, looking into Ryan's eyes, I realized something. The best revenge? It wasn't screaming or fighting or even exposing her to the world. It was this: living my life, marrying the man I loved, building something beautiful while she sat in the ruins of her own jealousy. Lisa had stolen my dress, but she had never been able to steal my happiness. The wedding was perfect. Every moment felt like a scene from a dream, the kind of happiness that settled deep into your bones, making you feel untouchable. As I stood at the altar, staring into Ryan's eyes, I realized just how small Lisa's betrayal was in the grand scheme of things. She had wanted to ruin this moment, to taint my happiness with her bitterness. She had failed, but Lisa wasn't done. It started with a text, just 3 days after the wedding. "Lisa, can we talk?" I stared at my phone, disgust curling in my stomach. Talk? After everything? She had destroyed our friendship, tried to manipulate Ryan, and now she wanted to talk? I ignored her. Then came another. "Lisa, look, I messed up, okay? But you don't have to turn everyone against me. That's just petty. Petty." The word sent a fresh wave of anger through me. She had stolen from me, betrayed me, tried to sabotage the most important day of my life, and I was the petty one? I still didn't reply. A few days later, I got a message from Alyssa. "Alyssa, Lisa's been telling people you overreacted about the dress. Thought you should know." I wasn't surprised. I had known Lisa long enough to know that when she lost control of a situation, she tried to spin it. In her version of events, I was probably the dramatic bridezilla who had blown a little mistake out of proportion. But she had underestimated me. I sent Alyssa a screenshot of Lisa's own words. The texts where she had admitted why she took my dress. Me. If she wants to talk about it, let her. But make sure people know the truth. The fallout was swift. Mutual friends started pulling away from her. People who had once defended her saw her for who she really was. It wasn't just about the dress. It was about the kind of person she had always been. Selfish, manipulative, two-faced. And Lisa? She didn't handle it well. One night, as Ryan and I were settling into our new life, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was a call. From Lisa. I let it ring. She called again, and again. Finally, I picked up. Not because I wanted to, but because I wanted to end this. "Emma." Her voice was tight, urgent. "Please, can we just talk?" I took a slow breath. "What do you want, Lisa?" She let out a frustrated sigh. "Everyone's acting like I murdered someone. I made a mistake, okay? But you're making me out to be a monster." I clenched my jaw. "I didn't make you anything, Lisa. You did this to yourself." Silence, then softer. "I miss you." For a second, something inside me wavered. We had been best friends for years. We had laughed together, cried together, shared secrets and dreams. But then I remembered. The dress, the lies, the way she had tried to take Ryan from me. I let out a slow breath. "I don't miss you." Lisa inhaled sharply, like I had slapped her. "You're seriously throwing away everything over this?" I closed my eyes, shaking my head. "No, Lisa, you did." And with that, I hung up. For the first time in my life, I felt free. After I hung up on Lisa, I expected more. More texts, more calls, more desperate attempts to justify what she had done. But for the first time since this entire nightmare began, there was only silence. It should have felt like closure, like an ending, but in a way, it was sad. Not because I missed her. That part of our friendship had died the moment she took my dress. But because I realized how much of my life I had wasted believing in someone who had never truly been on my side. Lisa had always been jealous. Maybe not in obvious ways, but in small, insidious ways that I had been too blind to notice. The way she downplayed my successes, the way she always had to insert herself into my moments, the way she secretly relished my struggles while pretending to be supportive. Looking back, it was all there. She had never been my friend. Not really. And the best thing I could do for myself, the only thing, was to walk away for good. So I did. I deleted her number. I unfollowed her on every platform. I removed every picture, every trace of her from my life. Because people like Lisa, they don't change. They just find new people to manipulate. I focused on what mattered: my marriage, my happiness, my real friends, the ones who had stood by me when it mattered. Lisa, on the other hand, faded into the background. Occasionally, I would hear bits and pieces: how she had lost more friends, how people had distanced themselves from her, how she was still spinning the same tired stories, playing the victim in a situation where she had only herself to blame. I didn't care anymore. Because in the end, Lisa hadn't stolen my wedding. She hadn't taken my happiness. She hadn't won. She had only revealed the truth about herself. And that truth had set me free.